Welcome to Book Banter with me, your host, Dianne Burkhart. I hope you will join me every Wednesday as we explore all things to do with, well, books. Let's get on with our show today. Hello, my happy people. Thank you so much for joining us during our holiday break. Season 1 of Book Banter with Dianne Burkhart has already ended, and during our hiatus, we are replaying some of our most popular interviews with fabulous guests that appeared during the first season of our show. We will be picking up Season 2 beginning February 1st. I hope you'll join us. Until then, enjoy this rebroadcast. Hello, my happy people. Today is still September 21st, 2022, and I am back on the air because I was able to recover my interview with my friend Kara. So let's hear from my friend Kara from Kara Vogt Creative. Okay, now typically with everything, I always start out asking my guests how we know each other. And the point for that isn't to show off, how great my friends are, although they are, you're great. But I want people to understand where they can go to meet people like you and my other friends who have been on the podcast and start networking with people who have this information. So can you tell everybody how we met?
Well, it was a couple of years ago. I don't remember exactly when, but we met in a entrepreneurial workshop, I believe it was. We just kind of clicked together with a group of other people and really just got close and talking about our thing, what we were doing and how we could better do that together, but also as individuals, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Because it was female entrepreneurs, and we all just needed support with getting our butts in gear and getting things done. Everybody had such different businesses. You were selling your soap. I was writing my books. There was another woman who was doing massage therapy, another one who was doing weight loss things. And so we really didn't cross over in our target markets, but the underlying things that we had to do to reach our markets was what we were able to support each other on.
Absolutely. I have found that social media, mostly Facebook, honestly, is where I have managed to meet a wonderful group of women over time, although they might not all know each other. But what I have found really interesting is that I might meet somebody tomorrow, and then 6 months down the road, they'll meet somebody else that I've already met. And so you kind of end up in this wider network of people. And it's great because very few are in the exact same business.
Yeah.
So you really get this wealth of knowledge based on what other business owners have experienced or done or gone through. But it's so open that you never feel like this competitive edge, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or if they have an idea or something worked for them and you do it, you don't feel like you're stealing from them because you're in completely different industries.
Well, like the things that you were doing with a lot of your stop motion videos, I thought that would be so cool to do with my books. Now, if I do that, I'm not stealing any of your customers who are going to be buying your soaps, but I can apply what you were doing to my business. The first business that you started was your Wise Oak Soapery. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, my goodness. It's such a long story, so I'm going to try to keep it short. I started making soap because my son had horrible eczema as an infant. And long road, going to doctors, trying steroid creams and all of that. They were helping, but not getting to the root of the cause. And after a lot of trial and error, we figured out that my son had reactions basically to chemicals that were being used in commercial soaps and body washes that you'd go to the store and buy.
Yeah.
So I started hand making them for him. And after, friends and family, they would see a big improvement in his skin. They were like, you should sell this stuff. And so that's the short version of how Wise Oak was born, to try to help those that have chemical sensitivities.
Yeah, I'm one of those people.
To basically take care of themselves without it causing other problems.
So now, how did you go from making your all-natural soaps to Kara Vogt Creative?
Well, I know that's quite a jump, isn't it? It's like going from making soap to starting this whole new thing. And it actually created a lot of confusion when I kind of made a quick announcement. They were like, where's Wise Oak going? I'm like, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But what I learned from Wise Oak, when I started creating content for my business, because I have ADD and I have stress, and who doesn't have stress though?
Yeah.
But, I have anxiety, and I have some other things that I have to deal with, fibromyalgia. I found myself kind of all over the place and trying to figure out how I can get my message out to people so that they would know that I had soap available, to purchase and get my message out. Because honestly, selling soap to people is difficult. Why would they want to pay more for a bar of soap when they can go to the store? So trying to fill that gap in and show people how it can help them, I had to get creative in the sense that pictures and text just weren't doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started making videos to show my products, to show the process, to show that they are handmade,
mm-hmm.
To show my son's testimonial. And as I did that, my engagement would go up because people were actually paying attention to the videos. And this was actually before, we had short form, like Reels and TikTok and all of that. So it was more long form, but it was all on social media like Facebook. I wasn't putting it on YouTube, but they would ask questions, and that gave me opportunity to answer questions that I might not have known that they had. But aside from that, the Cavo creative part was really born when I was getting questions from other business owners. They're like, how do you do that? I love your videos. How do you do that? How can I do that? And then I thought, there's a lot of people that can really benefit from using video in their business, but they have no idea where to start.
Yeah.
They think it's too expensive. They think it's complicated, time consuming, or they're just self-conscious, don't want to get on camera. And I can tell you right now, I am introverted, very introverted. There's no way I could ever be like a stage actor. I have trouble getting up in front of crowds. And that's another thing with video is that you're presenting it to a lot of people, but you're not doing it in front of a lot of people, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
It does.
When I'm making video, I'm just looking at myself in the phone, and I'm fine with that, And then once I post it, I don't usually go back and rewatch. Because, once it's done, it's edited, it's posted, I let it go. And for me, that works because once I start getting questions or feedback or people liking, the interaction, then I'm like, yeah, that was good. Even if it was mediocre.
So you're finding that with your videos, you're actually connecting to your target market a lot better.
Oh, absolutely. I can post a picture and some text and get a few likes,
mm-hmm.
Maybe a question. That'd be about it. But if I post a video, even if nobody says anything, the engagement goes up. And I've noticed it's not just likes. Then we're starting to get the hearts and the laughy faces and, that kind of thing. And then it entices people, too, to share their experience or share something that made them think of. And I think a lot of it is because, as human beings, we're wired for connection. We're wired to interact very much by language, but not just typed language, or text.
Mm-hmm.
We're wired to talk. And I know I'm getting a little scientific, but that's a lot of the reason that video captures people's attention. And, if you want to get real primitive, like any other creature on the planet, we're wired to catch things that move.
Yeah.
So if you're scrolling and you see text in a picture, unless that picture or a single word jumps out at you as you're scrolling, you can forget it.
Yeah.
It's just going to go right past your audience and they're not even going to see it.
I tell you what, my favorite videos that you do is whenever you show you cutting the soaps. I don't know what it is about that, but watching you cut them is so relaxing. It's crazy.
It is. It's funny you bring that up because I've heard that from a lot of people. They're like, I love your soap cutting videos. I could sit and watch them all day.
Yeah, it's weird.
From a soap maker's perspective, I'm like, really? Also, from my perspective, I find it therapeutic. It is relaxing to actually cut the soap, but it's not something you would think people would enjoy watching.
Yeah.
Because of that feedback, as you do videos, you don't always know what to do. You're just kind of okay, I'm going to show part of my process.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, you learn what people like to see. So, of course, now cutting soap is one of the main highlights of any video that I might show. Like if when I'm creating video,
Mm-hmm.
A video library, I always make sure to include that because I know that's something that people are always going to enjoy.
Yeah. Whenever you go in and you start teaching, because you're actually teaching people in a class on your website, right? For the Cabo Creative?
I'm working towards that. That's my ultimate goal, is to have like a master class monthly membership for
Mm-hmm.
people to come and learn together. Because I've noticed basically prepackaged courses, as helpful as they are, I'm not downing them at all. People are usually left with questions. What I have found in my business journey and talking to other business owners is that you're constantly told what to do. You're constantly told maybe how to do it,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not really taught how to redirect that for your particular business. So, somebody who is doing coaching of some sort is going to have a very different need than somebody like me who makes soap and wants to market my soap. But even though they're two very different businesses and they're going to have two very different types of content, within that you have things that are the same. Meaning, just because I'm making video of soap and somebody else who's a coach might be making videos of themselves,
Mm-hmm.
you still have to have the proper lighting. You still need a camera source. You still need to know how to use that and then apply it to your business.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm currently working towards. And I say working towards because I'm developing it currently. And my hope is to actually launch it in January.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's one thing I've been trying to do a little bit more of lately. My husband has invested in some products for me to use, but we've bought backdrops for videos and we've got lighting, and he just bought me this really great, it's a phone stand, but it has motion tracking. So if I need to move around while I'm making a video, it will follow me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple of those. I think they're wonderful. And that's actually one thing that I'm very excited to include in my program, because I know a lot of people would benefit from that.
Mm-hmm.
And to niche it down a little bit further, just so that people know, this is not for a camera crew. Okay, this is for the person that is truly a solopreneur. You don't have models. You don't have people that can hold a camera for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I bring this up because you mentioned the tracking ball.
Yeah.
That's one of the things when I found it last year, I was like super excited because I never had a cameraman. And that's really what this is going to, I don't want to say focus on, but that's who I'm talking to, is business owners who are truly by themselves. Because it can be challenging to create good, eye-catching videos without a little bit of extra help.
Yeah.
And the tracking ball is one of those tools that can, and what's wonderful too is they don't cost a lot. They're not like hundreds of dollars.
Oh no, Pedro just bought 2 of these. He got him one and me one. And it was like, I think 40 euros or something like that.
I think I paid like 50 for mine. I don't know what the exchange rate is, but I think I paid around that for mine.
And mine's pink.
Oh, well, that's even better. I love pink. That's my favorite color.
Yeah, he buys me everything in pink. What is the focus that you've been doing on your information that you're loading up on your Cabo Creative Facebook page right now?
There's just a couple of posts right now, again, because I'm mainly working things out. I'm kind of in the research stage, like trying to figure out, what do business owners need? Where are they on the highway of business? Which exit ramp are they on right now,
Mm-hmm.
or entrance ramp, however you want to look at it. So right now I'm working on some very basic introductory concepts for people. One of my beginning messages is, and this is very important to me in the sense that I know a lot of people are self-conscious about getting on camera. And as I already mentioned, I'm an introvert. I'm very self-conscious, especially when I know that my video is going to be put online and I don't know who's going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
one thing I want to teach people is people aren't thinking about you the way you think about yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Unless you show up on camera and you just have like the most god awful mess in the background. And I mean like atrocious, like your walls need painting, you got holes in the wall. And people, they don't care what your room looks like as long as it's not like a disaster. They don't care what you look like. They just want the information. They want to learn how to do something.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, depending on your business, and I say that because if you have a product, you're going to hear people like me tell you that you really need to show your face. Okay, showing your face on video builds trust. That shows people that they can trust you. It's another one of those natural things with people.
Yeah.
And they just don't want to get on camera. They're like, oh, I don't like my hair. I don't like the way my eyes look. You know, I don't like this about myself. I don't like that about myself. But like I said, people aren't inspecting you and, you know, going, oh, you know, her shirt's a little crooked or whatever the case may be. They're not doing that. And those who have a product that maybe don't want to show their face, it's fine to do like a hands in the video, but you still need to at some point, you know, sometimes show your face. So my point is that part of the membership is going to be going over how to overcome your self-consciousness. Some of it being by confidence builders. I'm going to just really let the cat out of the bag here.
Mm-hmm.
I am very conscious about my teeth because one of my front teeth sits just a little bit in front of the other. And if I have my light on the right side of my body, you know, showing on my face on the right side, it will cast a shadow on the other tooth.
Ah, okay.
I, as a person, am aware of this, and I know it. So I set my lights to avoid that. Not that anybody's probably going to notice, but I've had people actually tell me, well, Kara, you know, nobody's paying attention to you. They just want to hear your message. And I'm like, yeah, but I know that it's there. And if I don't have my lights set up right, and I know that that shadow is being cast, I'm going to be conscious about it. And I'm not going to be able to present fully like I normally would.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I bring that up because, you know, it's not going to be just confidence builders. It's going to be, what specifically are you self-conscious about? What can we do to make you feel better about that?
See, and that's like, for me, my big thing is also my teeth, but it's because I drink so much coffee and tea that my teeth look a little yellow. And I've, you know, done all kinds of things to try to whiten them, and it just does not work. I've even had them professionally whitened, and they still have a yellow tinge to them. But now I just noticed today that TikTok has a filter that whitens your teeth, and I'm like, yes!
See? And that's another thing, too. And filters are very controversial. I love filters. Even though I'm somebody who wants to present as authentic, I'm always going to be my natural self. And, you know, personality-wise, the way that I dress, I'm always going to dress in my style.
Mm-hmm.
But something like that, if you're conscious about your teeth, right, and you know there's a filter that you're going to put on your teeth and you're going to feel better about yourself, aren't you going to be more focused on the message that you're trying to present?
See, I know whenever I'm talking in the videos, I will smile more because I know that my teeth are going to look good in there.
That's exactly my point. So even though I would never notice your teeth, I'm just going to listen to what you're saying. The fact that you are feeling more confident on camera at that moment is going to allow you to deliver more of your message.
Exactly.
Because you're going to be more animated about it. Like you said, you smile more. So that's where I have had disagreements with coaches that they're not students of mine.
It's all about how you feel while you're doing it.
Exactly.
And it's like today, I finally used, I never like using the makeup filters and things like that either. I always just want to be me. But today, I did not feel like stopping and taking the time to put makeup on before I did a quick TikTok video to promote this interview. So I used a filter because it would save time. And I'm sitting there in the video turning on the camera going, oh, wow, this actually looks really good. And I left that in the video. I'm like, I'm kind of liking this makeup filter.
I use them too. And sometimes if I have makeup on, but say I got like one side a little lighter than the other, and I'm like, man, I just don't have time to go fix that, I will use a filter. The biggest thing with filters, okay, is you want to make sure they look natural. You don't want to overdo it so much that you look like a clown, you know, because with there's filters you can do that. Or like the face smoothing ones where it smooths out your skin.
Yeah.
I love those. But I have to be careful not to overdo it. So usually what I'll do with something like that is I'll make a couple of reels or something, but then I might send it to a friend and not say what I did and just ask them what they think.
Yeah.
But they know that if I send them a video, why I'm sending it, but I don't point out like, oh, I tried this time. Can you tell? I just send it. And if they notice something, they'll say, yeah, well, there's this one spot where you're talking, but your lipstick kind of comes off a little bit. I'm like, all right. That way it tells me like if it's overdone, or they'll say that just doesn't look like you.
Yeah. It's like I actually went through several of them this morning to find one that looked like the makeup that I normally do anyway. And I was surprised. There were tons of those things on TikTok.
They're wonderful. They're wonderful. And like I said, some people are like, nope, no filters. That's not authentic. And I'm like, okay, but like you just said, you found one that looks like your normal makeup.
Yeah. So what's the difference between that and actually putting makeup on my face?
Exactly. That's my point. How is it any different? It's not like I've altered my face.
Yeah.
You know, put my cheekbones up here, you know, down there. And I say that, like, even with, like, the filters that smooth out your skin, some people are dead set against those. But, again, what's the difference in using that in a primer?
Yeah.
It's just an improvement. It's just digital rather than a physical one. And I tell you what, you know, as I mentioned, I'm a mom. I'm a busy mom. Who isn't busy, even if you're not a mom? You don't always have time to sit there for an hour putting makeup on, making sure your hair's perfect. And honestly, like, I will not use a hair filter unless I want it to be obvious. You know, I might use a fun one with colorful colors in my hair or something from time to time.
Yeah.
But I don't use the ones that, like, thicken your hair or, you know, make it longer, you know, that sort of thing.
Oh, so Lord, I don't need my hair any longer.
On one of the two, I'm going to focus on my hair, not my makeup. Because I know I can add that to my video.
How do you feel about using those kinds of filters when you're actually doing promotional videos? I mean, because you would think typically in advertising, that's normal. People are always airbrushing and making people skinnier and giving women bigger boobs and, you know, making the product look shinier. So why does it seem like there's a stigma for single entrepreneurs like us to do something like that?
I think part of it is that society thinking hasn't quite caught up to social media, if that makes any sense. Because really, when you think about it, social media and creating videos for like Reels or your page or whatever, it's just another platform. You would use a TV. Okay, but I think people are stuck on social media being amongst your peers. And it's like people just get so easily offended if you improve the way you look. And I even say that carefully because if you alter the way you look, which that's what makeup does, whether you're wearing makeup or using a filter, you're altering the way that you look at that given moment. So I don't see it any different than advertising. To me, it's the same. You're going to want to look your best. And in talking to other business owners, and I say that because it can be coaches, it could be other product makers, you know, whatever the case may be. When I talk to them about doing video and they're against using filters and stuff, the thing is, what I've noticed, and not even all of them have told me, I've just noticed through observation, that when people present themselves to a cold market, and that's generally going to be like your Reels, your promotions, your, you know, your Facebook ads, or even your YouTube videos, right? Where you're presenting to where you don't know who is seeing you. I notice people tend to get dressed up. They put the makeup on. They do their hair. Their setup is immaculate. But let's say you're a coach and you're selling something. So you get people in your program and let's say they bought a course. It's the same thing, kind of like you're dressed up. They're using their presentation voice, not their real voice. Let's face it, we all have one. But then you have a Facebook group that is a supplement to that course so that people can ask their questions and have peer support and, you know, talk amongst themselves and that sort of thing. And if you notice, 8 times out of 10, when the course creator, the business owner pops into the group, say live or even a pre-recorded video, they just show up in what they had on that morning. So there's different levels based on who you're talking to, whether it's your cold market, your warm market, your hot market. There's more effort for the cold market than there is the hot market. And it's not that they don't care. It's just that at that point, they know, you know, the business owner, they know that they're beyond that. Like, they just want the content.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's like you gear your appearance toward the level of familiarity that you have with your market that you're talking to at that moment.
Yeah. To me, whatever makes you feel more comfortable on camera, whatever is going to help you get that message across without you thinking in the background about your teeth or, your hair or whatever the case may be. I wouldn't condone, making your breasts bigger, but whatever people need to do to get their message across and whatever's going to make them feel comfortable. Because, really, there's a lot of moving parts with video. And I don't want to make that sound complicated, because really, once you have the fundamentals and you know what you need to be doing, it's straightforward.
Well, and plus the way that you explain things, because I was looking at your stop motion video explanation that you were doing, you make things simple. You make things easy to understand.
I really try. And the reason I do that is because, honestly, I'm not a general learner. And by that, I mean, I really need, the breakdown. Okay? Don't tell me that 2 + 2 is 4 without showing me why 2 + 2 is 4. Because I'm not going to get it. And I know I keep referring back to my son because he's just a huge inspiration in everything that I do. But he's autistic. He's very smart. He's very passionate. But when it comes to learning things, I've learned that I have to put things in a very simple manner. Literally, tell me like I'm 5. Then I don't want to undermine people's intelligence. I've just learned that people grasp things faster when you really break it down and teach it like they're 5. Because that's how I learn. You can sit here and tell me something all day long, and I'm just going to be like, okay, I don't get it. I need the hand holding. I know one thing I struggled with horribly was my messaging. I did the avatar and I did the talk like you're talking to your friend, and it was just like crickets in the beginning. It was like crickets. But when I really simplified it, I know I'm beating a dead horse here and repeating myself, but made it like they were 5, people started to respond. And I have found that is so much more helpful, because then you're not skipping over important parts. You're not going from A to Z. You're going from A to B to C to D. You're going down the line to get to Z eventually.
Yeah.
And I find that that's much easier for people to follow. I know that with my anxiety and my ADD, it takes me longer to grasp concepts and that sort of thing. If it's introduced to me like I'm 5, I'm going to catch on to it much easier than, like you said, with the stop motion. If I would have said, let's just point the camera here, and then you're going to take a series of pictures, and then you're going to turn that into a video, you'd all be looking at me like deer in headlights.
Yeah.
But when I made the video, I was like, okay, you're going to set your camera here, you're going to open your app, you're going to put your first item here, and you're going to move it. You're going to take a picture, you're going to move it just a little bit, you're going to take another picture. I literally did that for, 30 seconds. Take a picture, move it, take a picture, move it. I'm literally saying that on the video. And people got it.
Yeah, it made it very easy to understand. I didn't have to sit there and wonder about, okay, wait a minute, is there a step in between somewhere that I missed? It was every step by step by step, and now you're done. This is how you do it. And that's what I wanted. That's what I want in something like that. I don't want to have to sit there and be figuring out the in-between bits that aren't getting explained.
Right. And I have found with a lot of courses or whatever, and again, I'm not downing anybody, because I know that I have bigger struggles with that type of thing than maybe a lot of other people do. Some people can watch, A to Z and get it right away.
That's not me.
They just get it. It wasn't something I thought to do in the beginning. It was just I'm going to teach people how to do video, but I'm going to simplify it for them. One thing I do is I want to get to know the other owners. So if you are a student of mine, I'm going to get to know you, and I want to know your business, and I want to know how you think, and I want to know if you have depression or anxiety or things are more challenging for you to learn, which I know is probably more than what a lot of people might want to share. But I tell you, I've been my own business owner for 3 years now. And if somebody had in the beginning sat with me and said, let's get to know you, let's find out what makes you tick, let's find out how you learn, that sort of thing, I would be in a much better place now, because I was left with a lot of A to Z's.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what you need to do, and here's the result of doing this. And I'm like, but what did you do in between there? And honestly, I think that type of model set me back more. I felt like I did better without any training whatsoever than I did when I started working with coaches that I went to for business, because it wasn't in a format that resonated with me or spoke to me.
That makes a lot of sense. So you're actually tailing your Cavo Creative to fill in that gap for all the other people who are going to be coming to you to learn how to do videos.
Yes. Yeah. And honestly, I think where I'm stuck now, because, you and I have talked about this, and it's been a couple of months ago, and you're probably like, well, why is she still working on it? And it's because I want to make sure that it's clear and it's concise. Where I've gotten kind of teetered is the fact that if I present it in a way that is simple, it's going to take longer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how it is, because you're putting more steps in there.
Right.
So, for example, each month, and I'm thinking roughly a month, because it just kind of depends on the speed of everybody. But, you start with basics, because you can't build a house without the foundation. We've heard that time and time again, but it's absolutely true. So if everybody's going to learn lighting, mm-hmm. and the variations and that sort of thing, where to put your lights, what kind of lights you need, and that sort of thing, a lot of programs would be like, okay, week 1 is lighting. Week 2 is your equipment setup. Week 3 is where you set everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, okay, month 1 is lighting.
Yeah.
Week 1 is talking head lighting. Week 2 is infomercial lighting. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to really break it down. And even though it might take longer, they're going to have a much better understanding of what they're doing in the end.
Well, and plus, as somebody who has taken photojournalism classes, people think that lighting is just put a light, shoot it at what you're going to be filming, and you're done. It's like, no, there's actually a lot more to it. You have cold lighting, you have warm lighting. Do you want it from above, the side, below? What are you trying to highlight? What are you trying to hide? There's what kind of a mood are you trying to set? There's so much to it.
What I really want to go over is, if you put the light down below you, this is what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
And you're going to scare your customers away.
Yeah. I never have low lighting. It's always up above.
Yeah, and that's the best place for it. Mine's always up above too. And that makes sense, just even as an aesthetic. It's not just aesthetic or just that's the mood, but really, when you think about it, where does light come from? Mm-hmm. The sun's in the sky.
Yeah.
Light naturally comes from above. And that's why that's the least intimidating to people. Mm-hmm. When it comes from below, that's why it looks scary to people. It's not natural. That's mm-hmm. not how the world works.
Well, plus it always makes you think of like those, campfire telling scary stories and holding a flashlight under your face, Now, if that's right. The kind of mood that you're going for, that's the kind of lighting you want, but that's very rare.
Right, and that's what I was just going to say. Unless you're trying to get a point across and you feel like you need to be like, well, what's this person doing?
Yeah.
What are they talking about? It must be a scary story. Then, you'd want to do it. But like you said, that's very rare. Most of the time, you're going to want the proper lighting.
I know you're going to be short on time here and you need to go pretty quick, so what do you want people to take away about Wise Oak Soapery?
Even if they never buy a bar of my soap, I want people to understand that they need to be much more discerning mm-hmm. about what they put on their skin. Just like you think about the foods that you put into your body, because you're really feeding your body from the outside.
Yes. So now, what do you want people to take away about Cavo Creative?
What I want people to take away from that is that video is where things are going. It's what's going to catch people's attention. If you have insecurities about getting on camera, you can start simple. You can do like hands in the video, that sort of thing. Unless you have a good foundation, you're not going to catch attention. I don't want people to think that you can just point your phone. I don't know if you remember the old point and shoot cameras.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and what did we call those? We called them point and shoot cameras. Mm-hmm. And what did we call the pictures from those cameras? We called them snapshots. And we called them snapshots is because they were literally a snap of time with no thinking. You mm-hmm. had no proper lighting.
Yeah.
None of that, right? But if you wanted a family portrait, where did you go? You went to the local family photographer to get a professional picture that looked nice, that you felt comfortable hanging on your wall. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not do point and shoot video. Let's do the professional looking studio video that people are actually going to watch.
Right.
So that's what I want people to understand. It's simple. It's not expensive, okay, to create a video. But you want to put a little more effort into creating the video so that it connects with people.
And that's what the whole thing is about, is connecting with your audience.
That's it. It's connecting with your audience. And yeah, I do have to go, but I want to reiterate the fact that when users watch a video, owners see a better return, more sales and more following, more engagement than text and photograph, because it helps to bring that trust. And people that watch videos, 52% of them said that they trust that brand more than had they not seen a video, or they've decided to buy a product because they saw a video rather than just a listing or a photo of that product, because they were able to see the size compared to the hand, how it moved around, how it reacted to light, or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
So video is a very, very, very powerful tool. It's really the next best thing to being in person at the store, or talking to somebody face to face at a table.
I cannot thank you enough for finding the time to do this with me, because I know you've been so busy. I mean, because we've been trying to schedule for quite a while now, because we both just have not been able to sync up our schedules. So I appreciate so much that you took the time out today to do this.
Oh, I've looked forward to it, even though we had trouble scheduling. But yeah, thank you for having me.
And I have links to both of your Facebook pages for the Wise Oak Soapery and the Cavo Creative, and also to your .com with Wise Oak Soapery in all of the descriptions of the podcast wherever I have them posted. So people can find you online very easy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I'm so grateful to have you. Thank you again, and I will talk to you soon.
Sounds great.
Thanks for tuning in for a rebroadcast. Don't forget, our second season will be beginning Wednesday, February 1st. I hope you'll join us. Until then, go forth and be happy.